My great-great-grandfather was friends with a guy named Nicholson, who was a steamboat captain. I think he ran a line of steamboats that traveled from the Great Lakes all the way down to New Orleans.
19th century Victorian chair, paired with a historical lithograph, tells a story of craftsmanship, ingenuity, and early American enterprise. It was likely made around 1885 to 1890. The chair was produced in connection with a correctional institute outside Detroit, where skilled laborers crafted furniture for commercial use. Designed to draw attention, it features prominent double casters, faceted legs, turned details, a gilt-decorated skirt, spindles, and a shell motif. All of these details reflect the ornate style of the Victorian era. The lithograph, printed in reverse for production, depicts one of the company's downtown buildings with the Leonard flag. It offers a rare window into 19th century business promotion. Beyond its decorative appeal, the chair preserves decades of domestic and industrial history. Its scratches and marks speak to its long life and use. Together, the chair and lithograph illustrate the blend of practical utility, folk art aesthetics, and corporate heritage. Though its estimated value today is between $10,000 and $20,000, the true significance lies in its ability to capture a moment in American craftsmanship and commercial history. These pieces leave a lasting impression on collectors and enthusiasts alike.
I would put an auction estimate range of $10,000 to $20,000.
Okay.
But I really think that if you got two bidders who really wanted this,
it belonged to my grandfather. It's been in our family for 100 years, I believe, and he may have purchased it in Europe in the 1800s.
In 19th century Europe, furniture often carried more than function. A single chair could borrow from temples, theater, mythology, and the taste of a city built on display. Made in the second quarter of the 19th century, around 1825 to 1850, it reflects Italy's love of carved form, gilded surfaces, and classical reference. Across the front, caryatid figures appear to support the seat like small architectural guardians. Their forms recall Greek and Egyptian traditions, where human figures could hold up part of a building. Here, that idea becomes more theatrical. Wings extend from the body, hoofed feet touch the base. Griffin-like details turn the chair into something between furniture and sculpture. Carved from a lighter wood, likely pine, the frame was covered with gesso before gilding was applied. Gold remains across much of the surface, though areas of wear reveal age, use, and movement through time. Scrolls on the sides show the loose energy of Italian carving, not strict symmetry. Viewed from behind, the chair continues to perform, proving it was designed to be seen from every angle rather than pushed flat against a wall. Even the upholstery adds history. The French wool mohair, likely added around 1860, carries a Napoleonic character and has survived well because mohair is strong and durable. Now the story reaches the value. Its price comes from the combination of Venetian origin, 19th century construction. More than a seat, it is a carved fragment of Venetian imagination. Its value lies in the way history, design, and drama meet in one object.
This is a great decorator's piece, and I bet with the right decorator, he or she would be able to charge in the $10,000 range for a piece like this. I love this chair.
Yeah. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
We've always enjoyed it.
This chair came from my stepfather's family. I came into possession when my mother passed away. She always said to me, Don't ever let this go. I, at one time, got offered $75 from an antique dealer for it.
A chair nearly sold for $75 can sometimes carry 2 centuries of American craftsmanship. Here, the real treasure was not the needlepoint seat, but the dark surface no one dared to clean. The piece is an 18th century Philadelphia Chippendale walnut side chair, dating to around 1775. Its form belongs to one of the most respected furniture traditions in colonial America, when Philadelphia cabinet makers produced some of the finest carved seating of the period. Across the back, the tassel-shaped splat gives the chair its identity. Above it, carved ears show small chisel marks left by hand tools. Below, a scallop shell sits at the skirt, framed by carved knees and classic ball and claw feet. Nothing feels random. Each detail belongs to the Philadelphia school. Under the seat, rounded yellow pine glue blocks and a yellow pine seat frame support a body made of American black walnut. That untouched surface is where the story shifts from craftsmanship to value. A low offer almost reduced it to furniture. Its untouched surface revealed it as history.
This chair is easily worth at auction $8,000 to $12,000. $8,000 to $12,000 easily. So you can average $10,000.
Okay,
so not bad.
Not bad. No, it was better than the $75 offer.
In the 1970s, my mother was doing a decorating project in her home, and these chairs showed up. I was a teenager, and I didn't take much notice of them.
In early 20th century Detroit, architecture did not always stop at the walls. Sometimes, it continued into the furniture, down into the carved arms, the walnut frame, and the way a chair was meant to face a room. This pair of walnut armchairs was designed by Detroit architect Leonard Willeke for the Jackson House in Indian Village, a historic neighborhood known for ambitious residential design. Rather than ordinary seating, these pieces were created for a specific interior, with their shape, scale, and carved details planned as part of a larger architectural vision. Aesthetic movement influence appears in the balanced decoration. Art Nouveau can be felt in the flowing lines. Craftsman ideas emerge through the solid wood, visible structure, and disciplined handwork. Across the front, the crest drops into strong vertical lines. Wide arms push outward with control, and below the seat, a carved frieze anchors the form. Along the sides and back, the same design language continues, proving these chairs were meant to be seen from every angle. Alfred Nygaard carved them, giving the pair rare documentation. Designer, maker, house, and original setting are all known. That level of provenance is unusual for American furniture from this period. Here comes the question of value. More than furniture, they survive as carved evidence of Detroit's architectural imagination.
I think the pair would sell for $8,000 to $12,000. But if all the stars aligned, could do 2-3 times that. I mean, we really don't know. The market would determine the value when they were ever sold. If I were to insure them, though, I would insure them for probably $20,000 for the pair.
For the pair.
Yeah.
It's been in my family for many generations. I got it from my mother. She gave it to me about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it's always been called the Evans chair. It came down through the Evans family.
Few pieces of American furniture capture both artistry and history, like this Delaware Valley ladderback armchair. Crafted around 1750 in southern New Jersey, the Evans chair is a masterful example of functional design paired with elegant detailing. Its serpentine ladderback and vertical spindles demonstrate the technical skill of 18th century turners, while the bold Baroque stretcher adds both strength and visual drama. The original woven rush seat has survived centuries of use, and layers of painted decoration in red, orange, and green reflect the aesthetic choices of early American craftsmen. Designed for everyday functionality, the chair supports posture and daily activity, yet its sculptural presence elevates it beyond mere utility. Passed through generations of the Evans family, it preserves a tangible connection to domestic life in colonial America. Accompanying the chair, a historical lithograph depicting the family's downtown building illustrates both the decorative artistry and commercial heritage of the period. They reveal a story of craftsmanship, design innovation, and family legacy. The chair stands as a rare survivor of early American furniture, offering insight into the style, culture, and domestic practices of its time, and highlighting the enduring beauty of colonial craftsmanship.
I would put an auction estimate on this Delaware Valley chair at about $8,000 to $12,000.
This is a Valet chair that we have had in our bedroom for probably the last 50 years. My husband likes Danish modern furniture, and he bought this around 1970.
Hans Wegner Valet chair is a standout example of mid-century modern Danish design. Designed in 1953 and produced by Johannes Hansen in Denmark during the late 1950s, it combines elegance with clever functionality. Crafted from rich teak, the chair was created as a complete dressing solution for men, featuring a seat that tips up to hold trousers, a rest for jackets, and a cavity for cufflinks or ties. Its sculptural form allows it to stand as a work of art while remaining highly practical for everyday use. The chair demonstrates Wegner's mastery in merging form and function, showing how Scandinavian design balances beauty with utility. Generations of collectors and design enthusiasts admire its clean lines, ergonomic form, and thoughtful construction. Its presence in any space conveys both sophistication and a story of innovation in 20th century furniture. Beyond its physical design, the chair reflects the cultural values of its era, emphasizing simplicity, precision, and the integration of art into daily life. It continues to serve as an enduring symbol of Scandinavian craftsmanship, exemplifying the timeless creativity, style, and functional elegance that define Hans Wegner's legacy in modern design.
And in an auction situation, we would put an estimate of $6,000 to $8,000 on it.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. No, $6,000 to $8,000.
My parents were both teachers with the American Civil Service, and they met and fell in love and got married in Germany back in the 1950s. And so they married in 1955, and in the spring of 1956, they traveled to Denmark to purchase furniture set for their first apartment together.
Some pieces of furniture are bought for a room, then spend decades becoming something else entirely. This chair began as part of a first home, chosen in Denmark in the mid-1950s, when modern design was reshaping everyday interiors. Its name is GGE240, produced by Getama, and designed in 1955 by Hans J. Wegner, one of the central figures of Danish modern furniture. Collectors often call it the Cigar chair, a name taken from the rounded arms that define its silhouette. The design is plain in the best sense. A low frame, loose cushions, solid wood, a back that rises more upright than many of Wegner's better-known chairs. Nothing tries to dominate the room. Yet every part is considered. Wegner's strength was not decoration. It was proportion, comfort, and structure, shaped until the object felt natural in daily use. The small marks on the wood do not erase its importance. Modern furniture can often be reupholstered or carefully restored without losing its appeal, especially when the form, designer, and early production history remain strong. This model is now highly sought after among collectors of Danish modern furniture. A chair made for a young household became a recognized work of Danish modern design. Its value was never in ornament. It was in the idea.
So value-wise, at auction, just the chair would probably bring $4,000 to $6,000.
No way. No way. It's a chair. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. We should have taken better care of it.
No, you've taken great care of it.
This is a piece of lawn furniture. It's a rocking chair that my grandfather made in the 20s. He did a lot of work in wrought iron and then transitioned into aluminum after the war.
Long before outdoor furniture became sleek and lightweight, one craftsman was already bending metal into motion, not for a showroom, not for mass production, for a lawn, a body, and a line that could move. This is an aluminum and brass rocking chair made around 1928 by George C. Hyde, known as Ted Hyde, a metalworker active in places including Watertown, New York. Its design feels far later than its date. A single hoop-like line curves through the body of the chair. The frame rocks low and smooth. The seat carries brass, while aluminum rivets and tubing give the whole piece a direct industrial character. At the time, European modernism was reshaping furniture through tubular steel and stripped-down structure. Marcel Breuer's Wassily chair had appeared in 1925, and only a few years later, Hyde was working in America with a similar sense of experiment. Yet this was not a copy of European design. It was a local invention, built from skill, speed, and an understanding of how metal could serve comfort. Weather left its own record. Aluminum softened with age. Brass developed green verdigris. Outdoor use marked the surface without destroying the form. That patina helps the chair feel less like a prototype and more like a surviving idea. Then the question becomes value. One rocking chair became evidence of an American maker working ahead of his moment. Its importance rests in the curve, the metal, and the mind that shaped both.
An insurance value on this chair could easily be $7,500. Wow. $7,500.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's fabulous.
I've been a remodeling contractor all of my life, and I was doing work for one of my customers who happened to own this chair, who was a psychiatrist. When I was working there at the home, I noticed this chair and I really took a liking to it, and I always commented to him that I really enjoyed this chair.
Before modern furniture became collectible, it first had to change the way people sat. The LC4 chaise longue did exactly that. Designed in 1928 by Le Corbusier, Pierre Jeanneret, and Charlotte Perriand, this reclining chair became one of the clearest expressions of modernist design. Its full name is LC4 chaise longue à réglage continu. The idea was not decoration. It was adjustment. A curved chrome-plated steel frame rests on a dark base, allowing the seat to slide into different reclining positions. The form follows the back, the legs, and the body's natural need for rest. That is why the LC4 was often described as a relaxing machine. It was furniture built with the logic of architecture. The contrast is direct black structure below, polished metal above, Hyde upholstery stretched across the frame. No carved detail, no extra ornament, only proportion, function, and control. This is not just a famous shape. It is a documented Cassina example of one of the most copied chairs in modern history. That is where the chair stops being just a famous design and becomes a verified piece of the modern furniture market. A chair made for the body became a symbol of an entire design movement. Its value comes from the line, the idea, and the name behind it.
I put an auction estimate on this of $3,000 to $4,000. But it could do better because it's so iconic.
That's good to know. You know, it excites me so much, I almost want to do a Tom Cruise and jump on the couch.
We have my 8 dining room chairs that have been in my family for a long time. They were originated in St. Louis. I don't know whether my step-grandfather inherited one or bought one, but he only had one.
Old, elegant. At first glance, these 8 dining chairs looked like survivors from the 18th century. Their carved backs, mahogany surfaces, and Chippendale-style shapes carried the feeling of old American furniture. They were not one complete ancient set. The darker chairs came first, more build-up in the varnish and carving that showed more depth in the wood. The corners and intersections showed visible build-up from age and use. The lighter chairs came later, probably made in St. Louis. The carving was softer. The surface was less refined. Even the mahogany revealed the secret, with added boards showing that the makers used smaller pieces of wood instead of one expensive solid plank. That small construction detail changed the story completely. If all 8 chairs had truly been 18th century Chippendale originals, they could have reached tens of thousands of dollars, even much more at retail. But as an assembled set of 20th century reproductions, their auction value sits closer to $2,000 to $3,000. Still, their charm remains. They are not lost colonial masterpieces. They are layered, handmade, imperfect, and full of family legend. Sometimes, the real treasure is not the myth. It is the truth carved quietly into the wood.
I would say that the entire set would sell for between $2,000 and $3,000.
Okay.
Okay? If these were 18th century chairs,
Yeah.
through and through, you would be looking at $20,000, $30,000, maybe $40,000.
Growing up, it was always at our beach house at Sunset Beach in North Carolina. It sat in the front room, and my grandfather always sat at it. It was from my grandfather's family. And from what I understand, my ancestors, his family, in the late 1800s maybe, had a shipping company out of Pensacola, Florida.
This Windsor writing armchair is a remarkable example of early American craftsmanship. It blends practicality with elegant design. The chair features gracefully curved spindles and a broad vase-shaped splat that balances form and function. Its original stencil decoration and grain-painted surface were designed to mimic exotic woods. This reflects the refined aesthetic tastes of early 19th century America. Constructed primarily from poplar, a wood common in Pennsylvania, The chair also features cleverly integrated drawers within the writing surface. These drawers demonstrate a thoughtful combination of utility and artistry. Beyond its construction, the chair carries the marks of everyday use scratches, wear, and patina. These signs tell the story of generations who lived alongside it. For decades, it stood in a beach house at Sunset Beach, North Carolina. The owner's grandfather often sat in it, creating a tangible connection to domestic life and family heritage. More than a functional piece of furniture, it represents the domestic culture of early America. It illustrates where design, craftsmanship, and daily life intersected. While its auction value is modest, around $1,500, the true importance of this chair lies in its enduring craftsmanship, historical resonance, and the way it preserves a fragment of 19th century American family life.
Let's say for auction purposes, somewhere around $1,500.
Wow.
So it's not as though it's worth a great deal of money. And part of the reason for that is that people say, well, it takes up a lot of room. You know, I could put a sofa there.
I bought this about 20 years ago at an antique show in Tulsa, and the gentleman told me it was a John Jelliff, but I have no way of knowing if that was true or not. I paid about $2,000 for it.
Exquisite craftsmanship from post-Civil War America comes to life in this Jelliff-type armchair. Likely made between 1865 and 1875, it features carved busts, tassel-decorated arms, and burl walnut details typical of the period. The original upholstery and turned spindles demonstrate both artistry and durability. Influenced by cabinet makers from Newark, New York, and possibly the Midwest, it reflects how regional traditions merged with decorative innovation. The layered painted finishes highlight the era's attention to aesthetic detail. Its layered finishes in multiple paint tones preserve the aesthetic choices and attention to detail valued in the era. Beyond its design, the chair preserves traces of daily use, connecting generations, and offering a glimpse into 19th century domestic life. Combined with its legacy of skilled craftsmanship and innovative design, the chair stands as a rare example of American furniture that transforms everyday function into lasting artistry.
In the real world today at auction, you're probably looking at $600 to $800.
That's okay, I still love it.
I was told it was handmade. I was told it was plantation made. And I bought it from someone for just $25, and just because it was so cool.
A rough wooden chair can sometimes hold more history than a polished antique. Scratches, darkened surfaces, and worn handles may reveal where it was used, how it was made, and why one small detail can change its value. This is a rural ladderback armchair from the American South, likely dating to around 1820 to 1840. Its form is simple: tall front legs, turned arms, a surface left mostly untouched by time. Unlike refined city furniture, this chair belongs to the vernacular tradition. It was made for use, not display. Mixed woods appear throughout the frame, including birch, oak, and poplar. One small capped section may be cypress, a wood strongly connected with Louisiana furniture. That point matters. Inside the seat, Spanish moss was used as stuffing, another sign of Southern origin. Still, the seat appears later than the frame. Originally, the chair likely had a rush seat supported by rungs, making the current upholstery an old replacement rather than the first construction. Its value depends on proof. Without confirmation, it remains an interesting early rural chair worth only a few $100s. Bought for only $25, it now stands as a possible survivor of early Southern craftsmanship. Its secret is not in decoration, but in wood, moss, wear, and place.
So while we think this is cypress, if that turns out to be cypress, that's a deciding factor, and it's huge. It makes it from a $100 to $300 chair to perhaps a $3,000 to $5,000 chair at auction.
It's been in our family for about 50 some odd years. It was given to our mother by a couple that received it as a wedding gift back in 1926. I think it's from the Haywood Morrow Company out of Chicago. I'm not sure exactly what era it was in.
Wicker furniture can be easy to dismiss, especially when so many similar pieces have passed through porches, sunrooms, and antique shops. Yet one surviving label can turn a familiar rocking chair into something much more specific. This rocking chair was made by Haywood Wakefield, one of the major American furniture manufacturers of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The company name is important because wicker furniture is often unlabeled, making exact attribution difficult. Here, the label remains inside the chair with only minor losses, giving the piece a clear maker and helping place it near the beginning of the 20th century. The design carries the high-style look of Victorian wicker. A scrolled crest rises across the top. A contrasting lattice back gives the chair depth. Additional woven details appear along the stiles, arms, and upper front legs. These features make the rocker more elaborate than ordinary imported examples that weakened the general wicker market. Material create the value. A common form became important because one small paper detail survived. For this chair, the label is not just evidence.
It would be about a $100 chair, but because it has its label, it's more in the $800 to $1,200.